I bet you've been told there's something called good debt, right? I mean, you're told that eventually you're going to have a mortgage, you're going to buy a house, and that's good debt, and it's the biggest investment you'll ever make. Let me tell you, that is a total crock. And in this video, you're going to discover that good debt is a complete myth. And I'm going to share with you a lesson from my debt-free millionaire system that will walk you through exactly how it works. I mean, when you see the numbers, you will be shocked to discover that good debt is actually the worst kind of debt you can have. But before I share the lesson with you, make sure you subscribe to our channel. And when you click the subscribe button, click the little bell so that you'll be notified when we post more videos on our channel like this one. But for now, let's go ahead and get to that good debt myth lesson. Now, in this session, you're going to learn why believing in good debt is kind of like the same thing as believing in the Loch Ness Monster. You're about to learn that good debt is a myth. Now, we all know that debt like credit cards is considered to be bad, right? Well, in this session, I'm not going to be dealing with what we already know as bad debt, because when you learn the truth about good debt, you'll see that what we already know about bad debt, well, it's just a whole lot worse. Now, let's get started with a quote from an online article from CNN Money. Now, this quote says, "Good debt includes anything you need but can't afford to pay for up front without wiping out cash reserves or liquidating your investments. In cases where debt makes sense, only take loans for things which you can afford to make the monthly payments. Bad debt includes debt you've taken out for things you don't need and can't afford. That trip to Bora Bora, for instance. The worst form of debt is credit card debt, since it usually comes with the highest interest rates." The article goes on to mention 3 examples of good debt: buying a home, paying for college, and financing a car. Now, if you remember, I mentioned that one of the financial myths that we're going to cover has to do with paying for college. So we'll leave that one for later. When it comes to the other 2 examples of good debt, borrowing for a home or car, between these 2, borrowing for a home or a mortgage is commonly understood as good debt, kind of like the best kind of debt available. That's because mortgages typically have lower interest rates, or do they? And they're believed to have the potential of a payoff due to the fact that it's funding a real estate investment that should appreciate over time. Many financial experts will even tell you that your home just may be the biggest investment you'll ever make. So if that's the case, if I can prove to you that mortgage debt, even in a good housing market, is bad, would you agree that all debt is bad? Well, that's exactly what I'm going to do in this Money Myth coaching session. Now, get ready for some numbers, but don't worry, I'll do all the math for you. All I want you to do is follow along with the logic here so you can learn for yourself how these numbers work. Let's say you borrow $205,000 to buy a home via a traditional 30-year mortgage at 6.79%. If you have a mortgage, your numbers are probably different, but that's okay. Don't worry. You'll see what I mean when we're done. These financing terms mean you're paying about $1,335 each month for principal and interest alone. I'm not going to address the property tax issue because even when the home is paid for, you'll still be obligated to pay all of your property taxes. A few years later, let's say 7, you decide it's time to sell your home and buy a bigger one. After all, your family has grown and you're running out of space. And according to the National Association of Realtors, the average family moves about once every 7 years. So you've made 84 monthly payments of $1,335 each for a grand total of $112,140. Now, I'm going to introduce you to something called an amortization table. Now, you may have seen one of these before. Amortization tables are what mortgage payments are based on, and they determine how much of each of your monthly payments will be applied towards the interest for the mortgage and towards the principal of the loan. According to the amortization schedule for a mortgage with the terms that we've outlined, of that $112,140 that you've spent or invested into your house in the form of those monthly payments for 7 years or 84 months, you've eliminated only $18,764.92 of the principal balance of your mortgage. This means that $93,974.08 of all your payments has gone directly to interest. What this means is that you've lost $94,000. So much for that 6.79% interest, huh? So what kind of rate of return would your investment into this good debt for 7 years, 84 consecutive monthly payments of $1,335 generate? I mean, after all, if your mortgage is, as they say, the biggest investment you're going to make, that's exactly what your monthly payments should be considered as, right? So you've invested $1,335 a month for 7 years, a total of $112,140, and you've only accumulated $18,764.92, the amount of equity you've built by reducing the principal balance of your mortgage. What kind of rate of return would you have generated? How does negative 56.061% grab you? That's right. You've lost over 56% on your investment into this mortgage each year in this example. So let's get this straight. A mortgage is good debt because the property is supposed to appreciate in value, right? Well, let's consider a regular housing environment to see how this investment would work out. Remember, you borrowed $205,000 and you made 84 monthly payments of $1,335, totaling $112,140. But after you've made those 84 monthly payments totaling $112,140, according to the amortization table for this kind of loan, you've reduced the principal balance on the loan by less than 19 grand and you still owe $186,000. Now that you're going to sell your house and move into a bigger one, let's see how much you'll need to sell your house for to break even. How do we do that? Well, simple. We take the total amount you've invested by way of your 84 payments, that's the $112,140. Add that to the original balance or original amount of the loan, or the $205,000, and we get $317,140. From that amount, we have to subtract the amount you've reduced the principal by, which is $18,764.92, and that leaves us with $298,000 in change. That's your target sale price for your home just to break even. That means your home would have to appreciate by 5.25% each year during those 7 years, and you'll have to sell it at 100% market value just to break even. Sure, there may be other circumstances like a down payment and such, but I think you get what I'm saying here. Quick question. If I came to you and said, hey, I've got this great investment opportunity. Okay, you're going to invest $1,335 a month for 7 years. And when you're done, you'll have $18,764.92 guaranteed. Or maybe I just told you that after 7 years, you just might break even. What would you do? You'd tell me to get lost, maybe even call the police. I mean, come on, do you see how insane this is? And can you see how when you follow this kind of conventional wisdom, it's no wonder you aren't going anywhere financially? I know I may have gone through that a little fast, but I think you get the gist of it. The point is that when you borrow money from a third party, no matter what you borrow that money for, there is no such thing as good debt because the third party is the only one who's going to make real money off of that investment. And if what most people believe to be good debt has this kind of an impact on your finances, what do you think bad debt does? Now, don't get me wrong. I understand that you can't plop down over 200 grand for a house or 20 grand for a car. Sure, that kind of debt may be necessary. But to call it good debt? Come on, please. That's why I call the idea of good debt a myth. And now, I think maybe you do too. I bet you're thinking about good debt a little bit differently than you were before, aren't you? Well, if you like this video, then make sure you take advantage of our free 3-part training called People Are Lying to You and It's Costing You a Fortune. I hope you'll take advantage of our free 3-part training because it will give you even more information that will help you feel excited about the financial future you have the potential to achieve. Meanwhile, thanks for watching, subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you next time.